Good evening. We've 4 more contestants ready to submit themselves to a range of mental, physical and psychological tests. Remember, the Krypton Factor isn't looking for brilliance in just one specific area, it's looking for all-round outstanding ability. In short, for a Superman or woman. Now, our 4 contestants tonight will again be put through 5 tough tests. At the end of each section, their points will be fed into our master scoreboard, and at the end of the contest, their individual totals will form their Krypton Factors, and the person with the highest Krypton Factor goes through to the semi-final. So let's go straight into our first section, intelligence. Now, it's impossible, obviously, in the time to test all-round intelligence, but over the weeks we'll be challenging in specific areas. Tonight we're asking our contestants to assemble a familiar form by analysing its component parts. So, contestants, can I ask you now to leave your seats and step down behind your desks? And on those desks you see 9 blocks. Each block has a pattern on 2 opposite sides. When the blocks are built into one large square, the pattern on each of the 2 sides will form a letter of the alphabet, a K. We want you to build a red K on a white background. Now, you must build vertically, 3 blocks high and 3 blocks wide. The winner will be the person who completes it correctly in the fastest time, and the psychologist who set the test has given a target time of 2 minutes. So are you all ready? Then go! Now, at home we can watch their progress, because on our side of the table we will see a white K on a green background taking shape. Now, as we explained to them, all the contestants must build vertically. Now, some of them are choosing to build it sideways on the table beside and then build it, but once they start building, they must build it vertically. That's Hugh Crouch, that's obviously got one side well underway and is doing very well at the moment. Interesting to see the different approaches. And that one's almost completed. It's Hugh Crouch, and he has now finished. So we've got a winner, so the fight is now on for second place. Pauline Vasler still in some problems. And there's Roy Ansters makes it there. So that's 2 with a complete K. And our time is up, so will you all now stop what you're doing? Well, 3 of you completed the K, so let's now award the points. Hugh Crouch was the fastest, so he gets 10 points in first place. Roy Ansters finished next fastest, so in second place he gets 6 points. Then Graham Roberts with 4 points, and Pauline Valser had a few problems there, in fourth place with 2 points. Let's then feed those scores into our master scoreboard, so that at the end of the first section, Hugh Crouch is obviously in the lead with 10 points. But of course, it's all-round ability that we are looking for, and there couldn't be a more different test, or indeed a tougher one, than the one coming up as we saw last week. This is the physical ability section. And for that, an assault course, purpose-built for the Krypton Factor by the Army. Last week, our contestants had a tough time on the heavily sanded track, which they found as energy-sapping as some of the obstacles, particularly our lady competitor, Marilyn Rayner. So let's see how Pauline Valsler and her colleagues do on the assault course this week. So 250 yards, 13 obstacles and a built-in handicap system to allow for age and sex. And a quick explanation of that handicapping. Physiologists work on the fact that women are physically 20% less efficient than men, and that everyone loses 1% of physical efficiency for every year they grow older. So with the age and sex handicaps worked out for our 4 contestants here, let's see how it applies to them. In lane 1, 28-year-old Pauline Valsler with an advantage of just over 54 yards. In lane 2, Roy Anstis, he's 44 and has a 36-yard advantage. In lane 3, Graham Roberts, 34 with a 26-yard advantage over the man in lane 4 on the outside, Hugh Crouch, who's aged 26. He starts from scratch, and the starter is the Army's Captain Don Glynn.
Competitors, take your marks.
They're off, and obviously Pauline Valsler will be over the first obstacle as she was closest to it in the handicap system. She's already on to the second obstacle, the 4 poles across the ditch, and into second place goes Graham Roberts. And this is agility you really need to cartwheel over, and they all do that well as they go towards the crawl section. Flat on the ground, and it's neck and neck as they go through that, all 4 together. And now the duckboard. They wobble as you jump on them, so it needs balance, but through in the lead now clearly is Graham Roberts from Aberdeen, as he goes over the fastest bit of the course, over the open ditch, and on now to one of the most difficult sections. Needs real gymnastics to get over this. A cartwheel operation. He catches his ankle there and in fact is overtaken now by Hugh Crouch. And neck and neck they go over the ramp. 3 obstacles to go. This one proving to be quite a difficult one. Up they go. If you fall off that, you've got to go back to the obstacle and do it again. Although he fell off at the end, it's judged he can go straight on. So in the lead then, in blue, Graham Roberts, as he goes through the maze. Forward and out, he has this last one to do, but that's the most difficult one. Has he any strength left in those arms to swing across this big ditch? There he goes, he must get to the far side, and if he's over, he should win. Across he comes in the time of 1 minute and 18 seconds he goes across. And second was the man in maroon, Hugh Crouch, and third was Roy Anstis. And fourth, Pauline Valsler. So the points here, first Graham Roberts with 10 points, second Hugh Crouch, 6 points, third Roy Anstis, 4 points, and fourth Pauline Valsler, who gets 2 points. Well, that really is a very tough test indeed, because by the time you get to the last few obstacles, your energy is really sapped, and they all did very well indeed. As we now feed the scores into our master scoreboard, well, we see that Graham Roberts has closed the gap a little bit. He's in second place there with 14 points, but still the leader is Hugh Crouch with 16 points. So, on now to section 3, the personality test, and here public opinion will decide the points. Some weeks ago, we booked all 4 of our contestants into a hotel. They knew they'd be given a subject, they'd have the night to think it over, and then to prepare a witty 30-second script, which they'd have to deliver to the camera the next morning. And the subject we gave them this time was to prepare an extract for a holiday brochure about an unlikely or totally outrageous place in which to spend a holiday. And the public nationwide will be asked to judge it for its wit, originality and presentation. So let's now see the 4 pieces prepared by our 4 contestants, and they were given just 1 chance to deliver it to the camera. So let's first see Graham Roberts talking about a holiday in Kampala, Uganda.
Hello there. We Africans been hearing how you British been having to forgo the old continental holiday this year on account of the falling value of the pound. So here's the offer of the lifetime. 2 weeks in sunny Uganda, absolutely free. No bad, eh? Considering what we gotta offer. So beat the curfew in Kampala and pit your wits against the presidential bodyguard. Remember, we is the only African country with direct flight to Tel Aviv.
A holiday in Kampala there. Now Pauline Valsler inviting you to try the underworld.
For all the people who seek a holiday with warmth, the underworld is the place to go. It is so hot it brings an instant suntan. For hay fever sufferers it is a must, as there are no flowers to produce pollen. All the overworked men and women should welcome the chance to visit the land of sleep, as the underworld is also known as that. Slimmers need never worry about diets anymore. Add the extra bonus that it doesn't cost a penny to get to, and also you might meet someone you recognise there.
And from the underworld, we move on to the choice of Roy Anstis, Baghdad.
Come to sunny Baghdad, only 3,000 miles away from England, and regular charter caravans leave twice a week. The weather is magnificent. We haven't had rain for 3 years. The hotel is fantastic. Overlooks the beach, and the sea is less than 5 days away from the hotel. Camel rides for the kids, carpet rides for the dads. No bingo, I'm afraid, mums. But on the last night, we've arranged a tour around the Sultan's harem just for you. This could be the holiday that you never forget.
And finally, to Hugh Crouch, who extols the virtues of Her Majesty's Prison, Dartmoor.
Hello. Now a holiday for the person who really has been everywhere and done everything. Visit Dartmoor. It's a magnificent Victorian building in thousands of acres of its own moorland. Private reservations are guaranteed by High Court judges. Personal attention is available 24 hours a day from uniformed staff. All recreational facilities are there. Special lessons in lifting and fencing for the men, and sewing parties for the ladies. There are occasional hunting and shooting trips on the local moors. Above all, this holiday is free. Her Majesty's government meets all expenses, including travel and a special holiday outfit.
So now you've seen all four of our contestants delivering their extracts for the holiday brochure, and the first time they'd done anything like that to a camera. Now, I said public opinion would decide the results, and that's exactly what happened. We asked the Scantel Market Research Organisation to take those recordings out to 20 cities and towns throughout Great Britain and to invite a cross-section of the British public to sit down, to watch them, to judge them for their wit, originality and presentation, and then to place them in order of merit. Now, the results have been processed, and we can give them to you now. Of those interviewed, most people, 36%, put Hugh Crouch first, so he comes top with 10 points for Dartmoor. 33% chose Roy Anstis, he comes second for 6 points for Baghdad. 21% favoured Graham Roberts, so he was third, 4 points for Kampala. And 10% went for Pauline Vasler, so she was fourth, 2 points for the Underworld. Let us then feed those scores into our master scoreboard to see what the situation is now. And Graham Roberts retains his second place with 18 points, but Hugh Crouch goes further ahead now. He's got 26 points. So on now to section 4, designed to test the observational and perceptive skills of our contestants. In a moment, I'll ask you to turn to the screen. You will see a clip of film which you should watch very carefully, listen to carefully, because afterwards I shall ask you 3 questions on it. There'll be an either-or question, there'll be a visual question, and one on the dialogue. So would you now turn to your consoles, watch the film very closely.
Dr. Beckman and Professor Markowitz.
Thank you. Well, gentlemen, now that the moment has come to bid you farewell, I congratulate both you, Doctor, and you, Professor, on your brilliant work in the development of the submarine tracking system. Thanks primarily to you, I'm happy to say that the first phase of our operation has met with considerable success.
How far would you say?
About 10,000 yards, sir.
Commander? Close it. I just got this signal from the Pentagon. On instructions from the Security Council. Destroy Atlantis fast. What does fast mean? Battle station's 5 minutes.
The torpedoes?
Yes.
He has Anya on there.
I know, James. I'm sorry.
I have to get her off.
How?
The equipment Q sent for me. Can I have it?
Sure. Martin. That package for Commander Bond. Bring it in quick.
I need an hour.
What, that comes from the top.
40 minutes.
You're gonna get me court-martialed. Okay. 1 hour. Come in.
Here, I'll give you a hand.
Good evening, Mr. Bond. I've been expecting you.
That clip from the latest James Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me. 3 questions each now and 2 points for the correct answer. First of all, Graham Roberts, your questions. Which hand did Stromberg dip into a finger bowl, his left or his right?
Right.
Wrong, it was left, no points. How many candles were there on the dining table at the very beginning of the clip?
3.
Wrong, there were 4, no points. How far away did the submarine rating think the sea platform was?
10,000 yards.
Absolutely right, 2 points. On now, Pauline Valsler, to your questions. Which hand did the submarine captain hold the phone in, his left or his right?
His left. It's right.
You'd have been right the first time, so you're wrong. In fact, it was his left, no points there. What was the submarine captain holding in his hand in his office? Must have an answer.
I don't know.
It was a clipboard. And what was the first thing the captain told Bond to do on entering his cabin?
Shut the door.
Close the door, right, 2 points. Roy Anstis, which button on the phone did the captain press to summon Bond's ski bike? Top right or bottom right?
Top right.
Top right, correct, 2 points. What piece of electronic equipment was on the bookshelf in the submarine captain's cabin? Must have an answer.
Don't know.
A TV monitor, no points. How much time did the Pentagon originally give the captain to destroy the platform?
1 hour.
No, originally it was 5 minutes, no points. Hugh Crouch, was the fire burning or not the second time we saw the dining room?
No.
It was burning, in fact, so no points. How many windows closed when Bond arrived in the sea platform at the end of that clip?
4.
4 is correct, 2 points. What was the name of the man who brought Bond his package?
No idea.
Barton was the answer, no points. Well, you could all have scored 6 points there. In fact, it was very even. You all got 2 points, but to bring the potential of the round up to 10 points, there's now 4 points at stake for all of you, depending on your ability to recognise one of the 2 scientists at the beginning of that film. And just as last week we had 9 soldiers, this week we've got 9 scientists from which to choose. Have a good look at them. They've all got white coats on for this identity parade. Have a good look at all those faces. One of those gentlemen was a scientist at the beginning of the clip of film that you saw. So have a good long look at them. They're now going to walk across in front of you and line up on the other side. And after that, I'll be asking you to decide which of them was the scientist at the beginning of the film. So have your last long hard look, because you've got indicator boards on your laps, and in a moment I'm going to ask you to press the number which corresponds with the number of our scientist here that you think was the one from the film. So if you've had your last look, will you press the button when I say now? Are you ready? Press the number now. Right, you've made your decision. Let's have a look. Graham Roberts chose scientist number 2. Would he step forward, please? Pauline Valsler chose number 6. Would scientist number 6 step forward, please? Roy Anstis also chose scientist number 2. And Hugh Crouch also chose number 6. So, did anyone get it right? Which one was the scientist from that clip of film? Can I now ask the scientist from that James Bond film to make himself known? So no one was right, and there he is, actor Milos Sperber. So, with none of you spotting him, you all end level in that round with 2 points. We feed those scores into our master scoreboard, so there's no change at the moment. Graham Roberts still in second place with 20 points. Hugh Crouch still in the lead with 28 points. We go into our last round now, general knowledge. Plenty of points at stake because it's 1 point for the correct answer, 1 point off your total for the wrong answer. It's rapid-fire questioning, and so that we can keep up to date with what's happening as we reach the climax of the show, let us now feed in your totals to the scoreboards behind you, and we shall go straight with the first question. Press the buzzer when you know the answer. What does the name of the Russian newspaper Pravda mean in English? Hugh Crouch.
It means truth.
Truth. 1 point to you. Beauty is truth, truth beauty. Which English poet wrote that? Graham Roberts.
John Keats.
Correct. 1 point to you. Skeet is a kind of sport. What kind? Roy Anstis.
Shooting.
You have to be more specific.
Clay pigeon shooting.
Correct. 1 point. Who wrote the Clayhanger trilogy? Graham Roberts.
Arnold Bennett.
Correct. 1 point. Bennett, Miller, Cook and Moore appeared in what review together in London in... Graham Roberts interrupts.
Beyond the Fringe.
Beyond the Fringe, 1 point to you. A fringe can also be a hairstyle. In which of Pope's poems does a lady called Belinda lose some of her hair? Graham Roberts.
The Rape of the Lock.
Correct. 1 point. What two things must be added to the lock to complete both the idiom and the firearm? Roy Anstis.
Flint.
I wanted two things, can't take that. Stock and barrel is the correct answer. 1 point off your score. What is a maker of wooden barrels called? Roy Anstis.
A Cooper.
Correct. 1 point. What kind of headgear does Tommy Cooper wear in his act? Roy Anstis.
A fez.
Correct. 1 point. Which country banned the wearing of the fez in 1920, interrupted by Roy Anstis?
Turkey.
Correct. 1 point. What, in nautical terms, is a Turk's head? Graham Roberts.
A knot.
An ornamental knot. Correct. A knot is, amongst other things, the name of a living creature. What kind? The answer is a bird. The Byrds had a hit record in 1965 with a song written by Bob Dylan. What was it? Pauline Valsler.
Tambourine Man.
Tambourine Man, correct. 1 point. Which man's nickname was Fizz? Graham Roberts.
Illustrator of Dickens.
Wrong. Hablot Knight Brown. In what Shakespearean play does Beron appear? Or Beron? Graham Roberts.
Love's Labour's Lost.
Correct. 1 point. Labor Day is a public holiday in the US and Canada. In what month is it? Answer is September. What is a septum in anatomy? And interrupted by Roy Anstis.
It's the cartilage that divides the nose into two separate nostrils.
Correct. 1 point. The parting of the Red Sea occurs in which book of the Bible? Graham Roberts.
Exodus.
Correct. 1 point. An X film cannot be seen legally by anyone under what age? Hugh Crouch.
18.
18 is correct. 1 point to you. And that's the end of the contest, which means that our winner tonight is Hugh Crouch with a Krypton Factor of 30. So our congratulations to him. Hard luck indeed to Graham Roberts, who pushed hard in that last round. In fact, he gave us an answer that the illustrator of Dickens, which was correct. I took a point from him, but he didn't give us the name. We can put a point back on. He was second, but Hugh Crouch is the winner. He goes through to our semi-final. We're back next week at 7 o'clock. Good night.